Good morning. I know I'm mad late to the live stream time that I set, but it is what it is. How y'all doing, man? Well, it's 2 days after Election Day, and nothing major happened. You know what I'm saying? We didn't gain any more freedom than we had before, and we probably gained more tyranny than we did before, because we went out and voted in record numbers and all this bullshit. Everybody turned out to submit, and people were disappointed. The red wave didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? All this shit about the red wave, this red wave, that. Not that it would make a difference. Here's the thing. It's not like the Republicans would have gained a veto-proof majority anyway, right? They would not have had, there were not enough seats up for re-election. You know what I'm saying? And so if it was real, even if it was real, let's say this whole system is real, this whole bullshit, let's say it's like they want us to think it is. You didn't have a veto-proof majority. You still got that bumbling idiot in the presidency, so it is what it is, man. This is what we have to stop relying on elections. We have to stop relying on politicians to get the shit that we know we need, right? We need our freedom. We need our rights. And that's point blank and period. And we're not going to get it from a ballot box. We're not standing in a line, voting for our favorite ruler and all this type of shit, voting for propositions and measures that we don't even get to introduce ourselves. When was the last time you went and introduced a measure for people to vote on? When was the last time you, as a regular motherfucker, put a proposition on the ballot that would give us more freedom that people could vote on? Because understand this, 9 times out of 10, people are going to vote against their freedom, right? In the name of safety, in the name of, security, in the name of all this advancement, in the name of climate change, all this bullshit. These motherfuckers in Oregon, right? Now, I'm not going to say whether the election was rigged or not in Oregon in terms of this Proposition 11114. I forgot what the proposition was. But these motherfuckers voted to essentially to be forced to have an FOID, right? In order to even buy a firearm or carry a firearm, right? Like in Chicago or in Illinois, you have to have a firearm owner's identification, right? You have to get permission just to buy a gun now in Oregon. And there were a number of other Second Amendment infringing items on that proposition that and we're talking about Oregon people. We're talking about motherfuckers from Oregon where, yes, liberal for the most part has always essentially been blue, but they were more conservative than anything, right? They might be socially Democrat, but they're conservative, and they rule for the most part. They except for Portland, when you have these big cities that have go ahead, man, go ahead. They have these so-called huge populations, and these population centers, they just completely they completely take over when these elections happen. Like, you'll see the whole state be red, except for like blotches of blue in cities. And because of those little blues, those little blotches of blues, oh, well, that's it. It's whatever they want, right? They're not thinking about your rural ass. You understand what I'm saying? You will never be represented in a state like California. You'll never be represented in a state like Oregon. Ever. because they don't give a fuck about they don't give a fuck about the Republicans. They don't care. They don't care about the rural folks, the people that really make this country tick. You know what I'm saying? If it weren't for the farmers, if it weren't for the miners, you know what I'm saying? People like that, blue collar people, rural blue collar people. I have to say that because, you know, you got blue collar people that live in the city and they don't give a shit either. You know what I'm saying? Even though they shoot themselves in the foot every time they vote for, every time they lift up these people that want to do things like stop oil drilling. They want to, you know, oh, well, you can't hunt without a permission slip. This, that, and the third. Oh, yeah, you got to start giving up your land so that we can rewild and all this type of shit. It's asinine. People are voting against their own best interest. And, you know, we talking about grown people, right? You got to be 18 to vote. We talking about grown motherfuckers that they're voting against their own self-interest. They're voting against their own rights. And this is why I have a problem with democracy, whether it be a pure democracy or a representative democracy, right? This country is supposed to be a representative democracy. They'll tell you it's a Republican, it's like Democratic Republic, right? Because democracy, you vote for your representative and then your representative votes for things that are supposed to represent you. So if you live in a certain district, you're essentially representing everyone in that district. If you're a politician or if you're a representative of that district, you're supposed to represent everyone within that district, right? That's where your interest is supposed to lie. That's why they voted for you. But what ends up happening is these lobbyists come in, you know what I'm saying? And now all of a sudden, if they throw enough money in your face, you're now representing those special interest groups, those corporations. And your constituency be damned, because I mean, yeah, they're paying taxes, they're doing it, they're donating, but they can't donate as much money as these corporations can. And so, of course, now, right, let's say you have a corporation in this district. Oh, fuck, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, it's not bad. A little accident, but man. There's always a lot of these little accidents on these highways, man. Anyway, so, let's say you have a corporation in a particular rural area or a particular district, and you know they don't want to have to get rid of their waste the proper way, right? So they'll pay the politician in your district or the council people in your city or whatever to vote against regulating waste, right? They want to be able to dump it in a lake. They want to be able to, you know what I'm saying? All that type of shit. They don't want to have to properly dispose of these materials. So if they throw enough money in your representative's face, that representative will then go ahead and legislate toward what they want. That's how it works. You will never be truly represented. And I think on a fundamental level, people know that. People know that. They just don't give a fuck because they can't fathom, they can't even contemplate how, you know, they can't even contemplate or even put in their mind how they can serve themselves, right? Be self-sufficient, not have to rely on the government for shit. They can't even think about that. They can't even think about, yo, well, how would life be if I didn't have these people creating laws that restricted whatever I could do? What would I be able to do? What if there was no government to build bridges? What if there was no government to maintain roads? What if there was no government to build schools and all this type of shit? What if there was no government to ensure that hospitals are around, or there are doctors and lawyers? Well, first of all, the government didn't create that shit, right? Government didn't create that. Government did not create engineers. The government did not create school teachers. The government did not create people who know how to build, carpenters, electricians, plumbers, right? When I became an electrician, the government did not anoint me with the ability to become an electrician. No, I went to school. I went to an apprenticeship program for 5 years to become an efficient electrician. 8,000 hours. Well, actually, by the time I turned out, became a journeyman, I had about 11,000 hours. So 11,000 hours of on-the-job training, and however many in class learning. I did that. All the government did, damn, there's a dead deer in the road. Anyway, you gotta be able to spot shit, y'all. See, I'm talking to you guys on a live stream, and I can still see certain things that are going on, on the highway. I was able to get out of the way, hitting that deer. Deer was already dead, but it is what it is. But anyway, all the government did was require those things to happen, right? All they did was, in order for me to say that I'm an official electrician, a general electrician that can, the only thing they did was create the requirements for me to be able to work as an electrician in the state legally, right? That's all they did, right? They didn't, they didn't download the ability in my head. And it's the same thing with building bridges and fucking filling potholes, right? And repaving. The government does, what about the bridges? Build a fucking bridge. What about the schools? We'll build schools and yeah, those things can still happen. And what happened in Oregon, man? It just demonstrates that, we got a long way to go. We got a long way to go before the people really wake up. But again, that was in Oregon. Oregon, is being held captive by Portland. If you look at it that way, if you look at how it works and all that shit, Portland and other city centers and shit like that, it's asinine, completely ridiculous. And I don't really have hope for most people. I don't. I really don't. Because even when the Revolutionary War was fought, right? It wasn't the majority. The people that didn't participate, that didn't want to ruffle feathers and rock the boat, they just stayed out of the way. They fucking just sat there. And, the minority, the tireless minority, the people that were fed up and was willing to fight, they're the ones who won the Revolutionary War. And the people that sat on their hands and didn't do shit, they had to fall in line. The mistake was what that was, after you just fought with your king to decentralize power, you come around not too long after and create a system that would install a centralized power. You see what I'm saying? That's where the problem is. You created a system of centralized power that you call the federal government. You federalize all the states. You federalize all the territories. Why? Well, because, you know, power is tempting. Power is tantalizing. People want power. I don't understand it myself. Like, I don't want power over people. I don't. I'm not responsible for you. Once I assume power and control over another individual, once I subjugate somebody, I am responsible for the consequences. I am responsible. And not only that, now that I have control and power over you, I now risk a rebellion, a revolt that would end up destroying my family, right? Let's say I had a huge family, and you know, we live in an area where my family's so huge, we're just controlling this whole town, right? And we're subjugating them. We're forcing them into labor. We're taxing them heavily. You know, we're punishing them harshly for victimless non-crimes. And people are going to get fed up at some point. And let's say I'm the leader of this huge family. I love my family. What I'm doing is, now that I'm subjugating so many people, I put my family at risk. Not only that, it's just wrong to do it. I don't have the right to control you. I don't have the right to assume power over you. But I did it. And anything that happens because of it is my fault. My responsibility. But see, that when you are power hungry, you're greedy for power. And you know, you don't think about these things, right? That's how I know I'm not suited to have power and rule over anybody, because my major concern is, and my major thing is, I don't have the right to assume control and power over people. I'm concerned. My concern would be, well, what is it? What is me controlling these people? How does that help them? You know, because all I see is harm being done. And then what if they decide that they are fed up? Well, if they're fed up, they might turn on you. You understand what I'm saying? So this is but these tyrants don't think about that. Oppressors don't think about that. Dictators don't think about that. They don't care that their children are in harm's way, right? Think about it. Think about people who in history who have been seen as a dictator, they've been seen as a ruler, been seen as an authoritarian, and they have been overthrown, right? It's not just them being overthrown, it's their family, right? Their family starts getting, they take it out on their family. The people that are subjected by these dictators and rulers, they go after their family too. Their legacy is destroyed. Their bloodline is severed because they decided that them and their family, oh, we the big dogs. We the big dogs, do as I say, not as I do. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. Think about it. Now, even though Saddam Hussein, he kept stability in the Middle East, right? Because of him, well, not just him, there's other, Arabic leaders. But he was one of the people that kept stability in the Middle East. We might not have liked how they rolled, right? And me as an anarchist, you know, I'm not with that anyway. But it was more stable when he was in power, and he was a dictator. He was a dictator, and now they lied about certain shit he did. They lied about him gassing his own people, all this other type of shit. But he was a ruler. He was a dictator, right? When he was overthrown, and the United States government initiated a war against him, it wasn't just him, right? His sons were killed. right? His sons were taken out. He was the last one to be taken out, I believe, as far as I remember. His legacy is destroyed, right? Understand this. Every ruler, every dictator, every system, every state has to fall at some point in time. By way of the people, or by way of another government, or by way of the military through a military coup. But everyone associated with you goes down with you. Everyone associated with you goes down with you. You know, they're investigating Trump and all this type of shit, but they're not just investigating Trump. They're investigating his children. You see what I'm saying? They're investigating his children. Now his children are under scrutiny, right? That's how the ball rolls. When you assume control and oppress and commit tyranny to other people, well, understand that there are consequences that come with that. And those consequences are dire. They're dire. They can be dire to you, and they can be dire to your family. And you have to think about if that's what you really want. Do you really want that? Or you can be a leader that is chosen by the people. You know what I'm saying? Naturally and organically. And you only do what's best for the community or for the people that have chosen you as a leader. If they look to you for leadership, okay, that's cool. Just don't let it go to your head. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Don't, why is this motherfucker in this lane, man? Come on, dog. I hate that shit. Damn trucks in the fast lane. Get your ass over, man. Why? Anyway. And then you have to also think about this. When you vote, right? It's kind of the same thing. When you vote, you are, in effect, you're voting for something to happen that other people that don't want that thing to happen. If what you vote for is chosen by the majority, the minority is subject to the thing that you chose, right? Whatever rule, whatever law, whatever initiative, it affects everybody, whether they chose that or not. And now you have to suffer under that shit because people decided to vote. Especially if you don't vote. If you're not a voter and you got people out here voting for shit that can affect you in a negative way, you have now fucked other people off. See what I'm saying? Is that something you want as well? That's one reason I don't vote. I'm not going to vote for something or vote for somebody that will affect the people that don't want that thing. I won't participate. So it's not just about submitting. It's not just about submitting to whatever rulership the majority chose, right? It's not just about that. It's also about forcing other people to be subjected to that thing. If you want to be ruled, then that's how it should work. Anybody that voted for it, well, then you have to go. You have to follow that law. You do it. But the people that didn't vote for it, hey, we're not. It's not going to affect us. That's how it should work. That's the only way I see voting should work. The people that vote for it, they have to do that. The people that didn't vote for it, you're not going to be affected by it by any means, right? let's say we want to vote for eating chicken or beef tonight. Well, the people that voted for chicken, they gonna eat chicken. The people that voted to eat beef, they gonna eat beef. But guess what? The people that voted for chicken don't have to cook the beef for the people that want the beef. And the people that voted to have the beef doesn't have to cook the chicken for the people that want the chicken. You're on your own now. It's every man for himself. If you don't want the chicken, then guess what? You can eat whatever you want. And you don't have to have the beef or the chicken. You can have lamb if you want. But guess what? You have to provide your own lamb. You have to cook your own lamb. Or everyone that wanted lamb, y'all figure it out. Who's going to cook? Who's going to, you know what I'm saying? Who's going to wash the dishes? Who's going to set the table? That's how it should work. Voluntary. You know what I'm saying? So the people in Oregon, if you want to have to get permission to own a firearm, to carry a firearm, well, go ahead. Get your permission from the government. But the people that didn't want that didn't vote for it, let the record show I'm not participating in this permission slip bullshit. And that's it. That's it. You know what I'm saying? But what happens instead is that the people that didn't want to have a permission slip to carry, well, they're gonna have to do it now. Or they have to, risk facing, punishment from the government. So that's how we should look at things, man. That's how things work, That's how things should work. Real shit. Anyway, I'm here at the job site. I'll let y'all later. Much love, like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section. Can't read the comments right now, but much love. Thank you guys. Marcy T. I think I saw Lenny. Marcy T and Lenny in the building. Reckless Podcast. Much love. Like, share, subscribe. And let's keep marching forward toward freedom. Peace.